In this video, I'm going to talk about the second portion of making a baby, which involves finding a surrogate and IVF, or in vitro fertilization. Let's get into it. Blue skies, feel the wind beneath. Hey guys, Austin here with another video on surrogacy, and we're going to talk about finding a surrogate and in vitro fertilization, or IVF. But hey, if you haven't checked out part 1 of this video, where I talk about egg donation and embryo creation, then get out of here! No, seriously though, go check it out. I'll link it right here. No, I won't. I'll link it right here. On this channel, we talk about new parenthood, making money from home, and everything you can do right now to become a successful stay-at-home parent. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And as always, I'll link everything we talk about in the comments below. All right, guys, let's get into it. Just as a quick reminder, in the last video, we talked about how we created 6 healthy embryos with the help of one super amazing egg donor. With that first portion out of the way, we now had to look for a surrogate to help us grow our little bean. The first thing we needed to do was find a surrogacy agency. And we had such a great experience with egg helpers for our egg donation process that we asked them for a recommendation. And luckily enough, they actually also have a sister company called CFC, which stands for Canadian Fertility Clinic, and they were able to put us in touch with them, and we were good to go. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, in Canada, it's illegal to pay egg donors, and it's illegal to pay surrogates. These women are doing this out of the goodness of their heart, and there is a queue, or a wait time. With CFC, as surrogates became available, they would send us the profiles of these amazing women who are willing to give up a year of their life and carry our potential child. I mean, guys, it doesn't get more real than that. What these women do is absolutely amazing. So after signing up with the agency, I'd say it took about a month or 2 before we started receiving our first potential profiles. Now, I should give you guys a bit of background here. Stefan and I are both engineers. We both pay attention to the details. And I mean, that's important, right? If you're an engineer and you're building a bridge, you don't want to forget a detail like the supports. That would be insanity. You'd be fired right away. So details are super important to us. So before we even started receiving profiles, we did our research and we found the critical requirements for surrogates. And these came from Health Canada and from our doctor. And we used those as a guideline to help us choose our surrogate. And yes, we did have a spreadsheet because we're nerdy like that. And of course, guys, I'm going to share all of those requirements with you. You know what to do. Smash that like button. I'm going to give you a ton of value. Here we go. There are 3 critical requirements when selecting your surrogate. The first one is age. Your surrogate should be between 21 and 39. And the reason for this is primarily for the health of the surrogate. When you're younger, it takes less of a toll on your body and you recover faster. Number 2 is BMI, or body mass index, and that should be between 18 to 34. There are risks associated with your potential child if your carrier is underweight, such as malnutrition, or if they're overweight, such as gestational diabetes. And finally, number 3 is history of a healthy pregnancy. And this is really a proof of concept that your surrogate can carry a child from pregnancy to birth because they've done it in the past. Those are the 3 requirements that were important to us because they would play a critical role in the development of our little bean. But if you got value from that, smash that like button and we'll keep going. Now, with those 3 requirements figured out, we were able to assess the profiles that we were getting from the agency. And guys, this is where it actually started to take a little while. Now, we had assumed that the surrogacy agency would have done pre-screening for all of these requirements before sending us profiles for our review. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case, which put us in a bit of an awkward position because we knew that these women were doing a selfless thing. They were helping parents start families, and we were forced to say no to these women, not because of who they were, but because they just didn't meet the recommendations that were laid out by our doctor. So at times, it just made us feel like we were maybe being picky or ungrateful, but that wasn't the case at all. But we stuck to our guns. You guys know this all worked out. We followed our doctor's recommendations, and eventually, I think it was about 8 profiles later, and about a year, our KNIGHTESS in like glowing armor showed up. We knew the wait was worth it. We received her profile, and all of the requirements checked out. And guys, remember item number 3 that I talked about? History of a healthy pregnancy? Well, we lucked out here. This amazing woman had just given birth to her 8th child, and she wanted to help yet another family through surrogacy. I mean, how amazing is that? Like, wow. We asked the agency if we could move forward with her, and just like that, they said yes. It all worked out, and we had ourselves a surrogate. We had the chance to get to know her before the embryo transfer, and guys, this woman is a superstar. She's helped out multiple families through surrogacy, and that's not it. She's also an advocate for the surrogacy community. Like, this girl does so much to help everyone out in having a family, and we definitely lucked out being matched with such an amazing woman. This is where we moved on to the embryo transfer portion of the process. And guys, this is actually kind of the scary part. If you remember, I said that we had 6 healthy embryos, and ideally we want to have 2 kids. Well, I mean, I want like 6 kids, but we've agreed 2 kids to start, and we'll see where that goes. So if you do the math and you have 6 healthy embryos and you divide that by 2, the number of kids you hope to have, you're left with 3 attempts per child. And now, if you also add in the success rate of in vitro fertilization or IVF, which is 55%, you essentially cut those attempts in half. So you can see how that number could be a little scary, especially when you've invested so much time and money up to this point. We crossed our fingers and we moved forward with our first attempt, and our surrogate was so good at keeping us up to date with the entire process. After 2 weeks, she actually contacted us. It was on Thanksgiving, and she gave us the great news. She told us that we were pregnant. This was so exciting. It all worked out on our first attempt, and we felt so lucky and so grateful. And we still have 5 embryos left, so maybe we could still have 6 kids? I'll have to talk that one over with Stefan. We waited the typical 3 months before we told our friends and we told our family, and everyone was just so excited for us. We just can't wait to start this new chapter of our lives, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. Currently, our little bean is just, he or she, I don't even know, is just chilling, and yeah, we don't know the gender yet. We're hoping to find out pretty soon. We want to have a bit of a gender reveal party, but I'll keep you guys updated. So, question of the day. Do you think Stefan and I were being too strict by following those surrogate guidelines? Or would you have done the exact same thing and followed your doctor's recommendations? I'm genuinely curious in what you guys have to say. Just sound off in the comments below, because I told you guys that at some points we felt like we were being almost picky. So I just want to know if we're the only ones who felt like that. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. So, some super important things for you to remember. If you are looking for a surrogate, you should always follow your doctor's recommendations. For us, our doctor said that the critical requirements of a surrogate was that 1, their age should be between 21 and 39. 2, their BMI should be between 18 and 34. And number 3, they need history of at least 1 healthy pregnancy. So now you know part 2 of the surrogacy process, where we found our surrogate and we went through IVF. Hopefully you guys got to know me a little better, and if you liked this video, you guys know what to do. Smash that like button. If you haven't already, please go check out part 1, where I talk about egg creation and embryo donation. As always, if you know anyone going through the surrogacy process that might be interested in this information, just share this video. Alright guys, thanks. See you in the next video. I made some art for the channel.